Hi guys, Octolin here. I want to talk about what I want to see in Salmon Run if it returns for Splatoon 4. I don't know when Splatoon 4 will come out, but with all these rumors of the Switch 2, we can only hope the next Splatoon game comes out with it. With Salmon Run Next Wave already making huge improvements from the second game, it would be amazing to see how the Splatoon team will go above and beyond, starting with bosses. Being the biggest staple of Salmon Run, boasting an incredible roster of 15 bosses, with 10 of them debuting in the previous game, and 5 of them being Splatoon 3 originals. My favorite type of bosses are the ones that can kill or damage others, so I'd definitely like to see more of those. One of the most euphoric things in Salmon Run is using a Slamlet to kill bosses, or sending a Drizzler's bomb right back at it, or towards other Salmonids. I would also like to see more bosses designed to help you escape different situations. In Salmon Run, you can ink a fish stick for a free wall and escape being chased. This gives the player high ground for a brief window of time. That is until a Drizzler or Moz makes their way to you, so I'd definitely like to see more bosses like fish sticks. I would also love to see how they add on to the lore of the Salmonids and the roles of the new bosses in the Salmonid society. We know that out of the muscular Salmonids, the more belligerent ones tend to take on a leadership role and go through extreme conditioning to their body as rock hard and ink resistant, while the more calmer ones go on a huge bulk to get huge and launch cannons. What if we had skinnier Salmonids before they became muscular that you have to kill upon seeing, or would immediately take a leftover egg and transform it into a boss Salmonid, mimicking the same functions as the Salmonid whose egg that they took? Going off of another boss Salmonid, we know that the most elite small fry become small fry pilots, so I'll be interested in seeing the vehicles of the lower rank small fry. For another boss idea, we know that flipper floppers are just Salmonid that wear a mask because they idolize dolphins. That brings up the question of what other animals do these Salmonids know? Will they idolize them and copy their behavior? Things such as them imitating piranhas or anglerfish will be really fun to see. We also know that Salmonids have different soldier roles, like snipers and pilots. It would be really interesting to see what other roles they introduce and how they function. Something like a medic that can heal other boss Salmonids and give the player instant ink recovery after being killed. All in all, the devs really outdid themselves in the designs and the mechanics and lore for the bosses of Next Wave, and I can't wait to see the new bosses that the team come up with in the next game. The next thing I want to see in the next game is more King Salmonid variety. With Extra Wave being another Splatoon 3 exclusive, they have become one of my favorite aspects of Salmon Run Next Wave. Similarly to regular bosses, I want to see how creative they can come up with different King Salmonid lore, as well as their cool designs. I like the thing of the King Salmonids representing pre-existing bosses that seem to have been altered or mutated, with Kohozuna resembling a huge Quahog, Megalodontia representing a Moz, and Ouroboros sharing the same hair and shape as stingers. For a cool idea using some of the previous lore, we know that the most elite small fry become flyfish pilots, but we never get to see the commander that is in charge of them. In my idea, the commander flyfish would be in a huge mech ball that dispatches flyfish. It would start slowly releasing them and increasingly dispatching them from its hatch as time went on. The boss would fly in the air, marking the ground with a huge red X similar to the missiles of flyfish. When it is ready to drop down to attack the player, it starts blinking and marking you like Kohozuna. The strategy would be to bait the commander to kill the flyfish and not allow them to stay and multiply. You would also make sure to try to shoot at it while it's on the ground. My next idea for King Salmonid, going off of what I said earlier about Salmonid idolizing the long gone dolphins, picture a school of lessers that idolize jellyfish. Not the nerds that we see in Splatoon, but the dangerous and volatile ones that could zap other species and be as big as 100 feet. The lessers would swim together in a shape emulating a huge jellyfish. This is until a whirlpool happened, sending the school and any other lessers down to the bottom of the ocean where Ouroboros was sleeping. One by one, each lesser was forced into hitting Ouroboros, causing it to wake up. In an angry rage, Ouroboros let out its electricity, zapping the school of fish, which fused them together to form Cyanea. Cyanea would be a hive mind made out of electrified small fry, moving in synchronization as an enraged jellyfish. Cyanea would launch bursts of electricity that would damage you. The more it gets hurt, the more small fry that would fall out. If caught by them, they would paralyze the player. These small fry would be blue with hollowed out white eyes from being electrocuted. I'm really happy with the way that the King Salmonids have turned out, but at least adding 3 more with the already pre-existing King Salmonids would make me extremely happy. The next thing that I would like to see is a redo of the whole scale system. At this point, just throw the whole system away and redo it. The way the scale system works is every time you enter into an extra wave and face off against the King Salmon, you will receive a minimum of 2 scales. No matter what happens, you're getting 2 scales. You will get an additional scale for every 1/8 of damage you do. If you manage to defeat the King Salmon, and you can earn an additional scale for every 10 seconds left on the clock. Meaning, if you defeat a King Salmon with 30 seconds remaining, then you can get the maximum of 13 scales. The biggest issue about this system is the scale rates. Bronze is the most common, while silver and gold fluctuate depending on the hazard level that you're at, with the highest probability of scales being 3% for gold and 20% for silver. In order to reach these high probabilities, you have to reach hazard level max, which is hazard level 333, or a team average of executive VP 865. The fact that the highest probability for gold is 3% coming from the hardest level of difficulty in next wave shows that the rate for gold really sucks. There's just no way around it. For the next game, I really hope that they boost the rate of gold, especially for the top players at hazard level max. There should at least be a 10% chance of getting a gold scale for hazard level max. Or they can implement a system where scale rates are higher during limited times, because a 3% chance for reaching the hardest level of difficulty in Salmon is way too low. I also really hope that they add in a scale conversion system. At this point in the game, I have a lot of leftover bronze scales that I don't want to use to buy anything else, and it'll be nice to convert them into other scales. With me hounding on the scale system, I will say the positive that they should keep. The implementation of being able to get gold scales from capsules during shifts, as well as the chance of getting gold scales from the random scales during extra work, are amazing, and I hope it's released in the base game rather than several updates later like they did for Splatoon 3. Finally, for the scale system, I want to have more variety of what you can buy using the scales. It would be cool to buy customizable suits and mix up combinations and be able to pick whatever color that you would want to wear for suits. All in all, even though the system is flawed, it still pulled me and my friend in. And as of now, my friend recently got a banner totaling 333 gold scales after playing religiously since the game launched. I've been playing for around a year, and if you see this in the background, you can see I'm getting the goldie. So even though the gold system is severely flawed, it was really fun to play, and I can't wait to see the new system they implement in the next Splatoon game. My final big improvement for Salmon in Splatoon 4 is the implementation of Splatoon rooms. There are so many trophies and decorations that you can get in Splatoon 3, but you can't show them all off because they can hardly fit in your locker. I have a friend that's played since the game came out, and he's gotten a trophy from every big run extra work, so it'd be really nice to show this off in a custom room rather than the cramped space of the Splatoon locker. It could really let your personality shine through the implementation of a room. The lockers were a fun little addition in Splatoon 3, but with the limitations of lockers being small and not being able to resize objects, this feature is not being utilized to its full potential. I would love to see rooms in the next game. I would imagine it would be another incentive to keep playing the game for more rewards to put in your room and show off to other players. That concludes the big improvements I want to see if Salmon Run returns in Splatoon 4, but now I'm going to speedrun some honorable mentions. I'd straight up like to see better communication. If you play Splatoon Salmon Run, you already know the only ways you can communicate is hitting the D-pad with a booyah or this way. I'd like a ping system similar to Fortnite or Call of Duty where you can mark a ball salmonid or mark eggs. Please take out the multiplayer maps have been updated. It is so annoying to be in a game and pushing through so many rounds only to get hit with a multiplayer maps have been updated, multiplayer maps have been updated, multiplayer maps have been updated. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to update every hour or two, but I think it's a glitch to where if you're finna crash, it'll hit it and essentially kick you back into the lobby and make you go all the way back in, and it's just annoying. Just take it out. I don't want to see it. Boss kills and what special was used should have been in the game. They still aren't in the game, but are released in the Nintendo app. But even this wasn't implemented in day one until updates later. It's like having a Call of Duty match without showing your kills. I remember seeing someone on Reddit using an Excel sheet to count up all the boss's kills before they added it to the app. This should be the first thing they implement when designing Salmon Run. Finally, just better game optimization in general, especially when you have a lot of fly fish or get to those higher hazard levels. The game literally starts lagging and becomes like a sludgy mess to play through. Now that I'm making this video for like the past month, now they just announced the next Switch, the Switch 2, and hopefully it can run on that, and they better optimize the game to run the way the developers planned for it to run instead of being a sludgy mess when you get to the higher hazard level. This is my first video. It feels like I've been working on it forever. So I've been working on it since before the Switch 2 even came out. So that's why I kind of added that last part at the end, because I know in the beginning I talk about the rumors of the Switch 2 coming out, but now it's actually out. So thank you for watching my video. Like and subscribe if you want to see more of my content, and bye.